Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear AJ. Happy birthday to you. Woo! 17. All right, blow them out, make a wish.
Going on 10. Going on 10.
All right.
Good morning. It is Thursday, August 19th, I think. I don't know the date at this point. But it is Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. I am about to start getting ready for work. But I told myself that I can't skip a video, even though I wanted to. I'm trying to force myself to be consistent, even if I have nothing to talk about. But I kind of do, so... what's been going on? Last week, I went out of town to see family, as well as for my brother's birthday party. It was a little stressful. So I spent last Friday after work, I drove about 6 hours and I got there really late. So I didn't do my exercises for Friday. Saturday, I was running errands all day. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling what happened. I'm just being honest as to why I didn't do my stuff. Saturday, I was running errands all day. Literally got home at nighttime and just didn't do my exercises. Also, Saturday, when we got there, because we brought my dog was acting really strange. Like, she was acting as like a psycho. What happened? Oh, yes. Sorry. Anyway, let me take this off. Got her scarf on already. She was acting like a psycho. I shouldn't say psycho because that's mean. She was just not acting like herself. And I was scared because she was walking in circles. She was losing her balance, trying to climb up everything, constantly crying and complaining. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what's wrong with her, but I'm going to take her a bath. So I did, and I used some Dawn soap. Once I did that, I noticed she had a tick on her, or a flea. I don't know the difference between the two. And I panicked because usually I put her medicine on her, down her spine, and she's fine. But I forgot to do that before I went out of town. So I did it last month, but I didn't do it this month. And she was fine at home, but then where I went, which was to Fresno, California, to visit family, it's kind of a rural area. It's where a lot of farming takes place in Central California. And so she was like freaking out. And then once I saw that, I started panicking. And it was about 8:30 at night. Like, soon as I got home, I took her a bath. And thankfully, a PetSmart was open because they closed at 9. And I want to shout out Kevin. He's probably never going to see this, but he really saved my life because I was panicking. Like, panicking. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening to her. She's acting weird. I found a little small bug on her, and he was asking me to describe the bug. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen this before because she's never had this before. I've always made sure, but because my mind was so preoccupied, I was a terrible dog sister because I call her my sister. And I forgot to put her flea tick, all that, whatever that's called, on her. So so I was like, Kevin, I'm on my way. Please do not close the store, because it closed at 9 and it was like 8:40 by the time I finally got through to someone. So that took like a 15-minute drive, and I'm like, oh my God, please don't let them close. So I get in there, and Kevin, he's the best. He was like, we don't have the medicine that you usually put on her, but we have this one. And so he explained it to me, and I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but when you're panicking, like, you hear the person, but you don't hear the person. And he was like, I need you to calm down. She's going to be okay. Put this on her. It'll take about 30 to 45 minutes, tops an hour, for it to start working for her. And he's like, don't put 2 on her, just put 1. And I was like, are you sure, Kevin? This man works with animals. And I was just like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. So I got back to the house, I put it on her, and thankfully within the 30 minutes she was calm. And I stayed up with her till about like 2 o'clock in the morning because I just wanted to make sure she was okay. And I was scared because I felt like a failure, like I wasn't paying attention to her. Yeah, so she was fine after that. I also stayed up to stay with her, but I was preparing for my brother's birthday party, so I was cutting up meat and preparing sides so that way I can take them with me to the lake. So Sunday morning opens up. My mom had went to a friend's party the night before, and we had rented jet skis, so she had to meet the guy to rent jet skis at 7 in the morning. That's what she said. So mind you, I went to sleep at like 2, woke up at like 6 o'clock, and I was tired. Ended up hitting all my alarms and going back to sleep. So we were running late, so we thought. So I get my mom up. I run to my nanny's house to get my sister, and we all go out to the lake. And so while my mom's communicating with the guy who she's renting the jet skis from, my sister and I start setting up a tent. Now, I am working on this. This is something that I've been struggling with my whole life. When I feel a lot of pressure or I feel frustrated, I try to keep it together, and then at the last minute, I kind of blow up. And I don't mean to be mean or anything like that. It's just something that happens. So that's something I'm working on. So I tried my best not to blow up on anyone, but it was kind of getting to the point where I was getting stressed out because I was planning a birthday party for my little brother because he's had like little celebrations with his friends, or we've taken him to birthday dinners, but he's never had a birthday party. So I've been planning this for a good amount of time. And it was just frustrating because I had a certain schedule that I wanted to stick to, but I wasn't able to stick to that schedule. And I understood that things are bound to happen when you have plans, but I just wanted it to be boom, 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 and it didn't happen that way. So I was getting irritated because I was trying to put together a camping tent because we had a tent out there as well as 2 canopies, and it was just becoming annoying because we weren't sure if we could like set up at a certain location because we were renting we were renting jet skis as well as we brought a boat, and we were like, can we dock here because it has this little orange floaty thing that we were like, this is supposed to be where people swim. Can we be over here? And then so we drove around a few times, ended up going right back to that spot. Talked to like 5 different rangers that were out there, and they're like, we got some no's, we got some yeses, so we just decided to stay there. Turns out we could stay there. So I was supposed to have all the food and stuff there by 11 a.m. I didn't have the food there till 1 p.m. Why? Because I had to run to multiple houses to pick up the food that we prepared, as well as other family members who are dope help prepare. So we had like tri-tip and ribs, and what else? We had like barbecue basically, tri-tip, ribs, baked beans, corn on the cob. We had some watermelon out there, grilled chicken, hot dogs for those who ate hot dogs, hot links for those who ate hot links. And everything was going great. I got a birthday cake, and this is where I'm an idiot because I bought a birthday cake, but it was an ice cream cake. And mind you, I got something in my eye. Let me get that out of there. Okay. The birthday cake was an ice cream cake. In Fresno this past weekend, it was 108 degrees. Now, not only was it 108, it was humid in some parts of town, but it was dry. And it felt like the sun was just on my shoulder, like just sitting here having a conversation with me. And so the cake started melting because I'm a dummy. And I had it in ice, but because it was so hot, even in the cooler, the ice was melting. And everyone who kept coming, I was like, if you come, just stop by the gas station that's close by and get some ice. And everyone who would come brought some ice. and it still melted. But even though there were so many things that I was frustrated with, the whole thing turned out to be a great time. Like, we had fun. There was rarely any arguments, and usually at family events there's an argument at some point, but it was just fun. All the kids were in the water the whole time. We had on life jackets. I actually had an incident, which I don't want to talk about because I don't know if my nana's gonna watch this, and she told me not to do something and I did it anyway. And so yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. But all the kids were in the water, the teenagers were in the water, and the adults were in the water. Like, we was on jet skis, we were riding, tubing on the back of the boat. My auntie, she got a little wasted, and she ended up on a jet ski that ended up not working, and she was in the middle of the lake, so boats and jet skis and everybody was just passing by her, so she was scared. So two of my uncles went out on the jet ski, and two of my uncles went out to save her on the boat. It was so fun. I wish I recorded it, but once the party started for my brother, it just was a good time. Ew, what is that? And my mom and I always talk about like family events when she was young and how everybody would laugh and all these things. And the fact that it happened for me too during my time, because at most family events there is an argument or there's this negative tension between one family member and the next. It was just a good time. Everybody laughed. Everybody was in the water. The teenagers were acting like teenagers and not trying to act like adults. The kids were acting like kids and not trying to act older than they needed to be. The adults were just having fun. It was just a good time. And I would say my only thing that I would correct would be just knowing that everything's not going to happen the way I want it to happen, and that's okay. And B, get more ice because it melted immediately. As far as my exercises, I'm planning on getting back on that. My priorities was to my brother's birthday celebration. Now that I'm back, I'm planning to get back on that, as well as I start school next week. So I'm nervous about that. And yeah, so that's been my time. It was a good time. It made me so happy. Like, even the next day before I came back home, talking with different family members, and we just laughing about the highlights of the celebration. And my brother, even though he had some bumps in the road during the day, for the most part, he enjoyed himself, and that made me happy. At one point during the day, I was just like, you know what, this is not even about him. This is about us celebrating with our family, because he's kind of getting on my nerves. But yeah, so that was that. Now I'm back in town, planning to get back on my exercises. Yeah. All right, bye. Gotta get ready for work.